Hello, hi. Thanks for dropping by to listen in on another segment of Chats with Cath. With me, Cath. If topics on adulting and lifestyle interest you, welcome. I release weekly episodes every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central African Time. My episodes will be a mix between solo dialogues or interviews with guests. So drop by and have a chat. Today is a solo chat where I will be exploring self-love and what I call relationship Hunger Games. So buckle in, kitty cats. This is going to be a controversial one or an enlightening one. All right. Let us begin. This episode is going to be airing on Valentine's Day. So I just would like to start with a disclaimer. Please do not take offense in the topics that I will be exploring in this conversation and chat. I'm merely giving you insights and experiences that I've observed, and hopefully some of you can relate. Some of you, if you want to debate, that is fine too. Let us debate. You can find me on Instagram on my page, Chats with Cath, or on my YouTube channel where we can also delve into a conversation, and hopefully this will be a healthy dialogue where we can explore some of the topics that I'll be covering today. As you saw from the title of this episode today, we will be exploring topics on self-love as well as what I call the relationship Hunger Games. And again, please do not take offense in what I will be discussing in this episode. If this is not for you, it's okay. We'll discuss and chat again some other time, and hopefully that future episodes will be for you. So to start off with, I feel that it is very, very important for each individual to define what self-love means to them. And for me, self-love is random acts of kindness. And what I mean by that is that I show my appreciation or my love or care by doing acts of kindness or showing people that I care about them, either by showing up for them for any crisis or any event or anything that they might need me for. As you can see, I'm pretty much going into a tangent about love languages as well, on the back of me discussing self-love and what it means to me. So if you've never heard of the 5 love languages, please do read the book by Gary Chapman, as he does a wonderful job in exploring what the 5 love languages are and how people interact with each other. And from there, you can pretty much see who you are compatible with, be it relationships that are family orientated, friendship orientated, or romantically orientated. So for me, my love language is pretty much acts of service. And how I define that is because I appreciate it when people do small things for me. And that is how I perceive or see that like people care about me or love me in the sense. And I pretty much do the same thing to show people my appreciation and how much I care about them in that regard. And what self-love means to me is pretty much that, showing kindness and being considerate towards others, because that is such a big and important thing for me. I cannot tolerate agents of Satan. Yes, I said it. I do not tolerate agents of Satan who come in and disrupt my peace. And I will cancel you. I will disappear from your life. You will see me. You might not see me. I'll be cordial with you in the street. But I do not tolerate agents of Satan, especially enemies of progress. I would never want anybody to treat me badly. So I practice what I preach. I always try approach situations or interact with people with compassion, kindness, and understanding. I also think it's quite important for you as an individual to define what self-love means to you as well, because from there you can set boundaries in terms of like how you would want people to treat you, and in turn like how you treat people as well. And what you reap, what you sow. Whatever you give in, you will get out. Whatever you get out, hopefully you give in too, because whatever you put into something, it will grow or it will die. And that is a fact of life, actually. Circling back to what self-love means to you, in my experience, or in this instance, I do think it is important to define what that is. And I know I keep going back to it, but it is really, really important to understand what that means, because you have to look out for yourself. Nobody else is going to look out for you. It all starts with ensuring that you as a person are capable of seeing just how important you are as a human being on planet Earth, and seeing how the universe is consistently conspiring to do good things for you or bad things. If you put in bad things, you will get bad things in the end. If you put in some good, honey, you are going to get some good too. Going back to that, the universe is always conspiring to do what you would want. And the reason why I say universe is I do not want to open the can of worms where we discuss religion, but I am a believer in the Lord, which is God, the entity, and Jesus Christ, and all those things, because I was raised as a Catholic. And just for those who are curious about that, however, I also am cognizant of other religions as well, which is Muslim, Islam, Judaism, atheism, whatever you believe in. I just want to make sure that you understand that I respect and acknowledge that. Sorry, that was a very long tangent and I kind of went off course there, but I'm just going back into defining what is important to you is very important in ensuring that you are able to allow things to come through to you, or to allow emotions, affections come through to you based on what you're willing to receive, and in turn, hopefully, what you're willing to give out. And this is why it is so critical to always define what self-love means to you. Does it mean that you are going away with your partner or your family or your friends where you guys are just having a good time at like a restaurant, having a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever it is that might interest you? Is it going to the spa and just treating yourself and just, giving yourself a little pamper? Is it going to the gym? Are you one of those people who enjoys the stimulation of being able to work out and just like look after yourself like that, health-wise? Or is it you doing interesting things where you're busy interacting and connecting with people, like acts of charity, or interacting with people in a group setting? That is your version of self-love. The options are endless and everything is different for every single person. And never disputing that whatever you are putting in, again, is what you will get out in turn, whether it comes by very quickly or it comes by very slowly. So also just going into another segue, some things that I wanted to discuss as well was just some ideas or habits for you guys to consider or adopt to protect your peace and also to look after yourself, because I'm discussing self-love because that is quite important. As mentioned before, I am not a fan of enemies of progress or agents of Satan. I do not like people who rain on people's parade and try spread despair, misery, and just pure evil for the sake of making themselves feel better, because that's what they're into. I am not subscribed to that, and that is not something I am promoting on this podcast. I nix it, I rebuke it, I do all the things, throw holy water on it, cancel it in social media. No, that is not what this place or platform or community is about. What it is about is to share in people's experiences and have healthy discussions and debates about some of these things, so that we are, being productive humans of society, being, good people of planet Earth. Please, guys, we have too many agents of Satan out there. Let us not be those people, honestly speaking, which goes into ideas and habits of how to adopt and protect your peace, continuing on that segue, because it is so important to do that for yourself, because it's for me, it's a part of self-love, right? Would you not want to be in a situation where, what I was saying earlier, you reap what you sow? What you put in is exactly what you'll get out, 100%. And I've definitely learned that, especially with relationships that I have with people, be it family members, romantic partners, friends, etc., etc. You reap what you sow, really. And going into that as well, to protect your peace, or some habits that you can adopt, is consistently setting boundaries for what is important to you. Do not, I'm not trying to dictate what you should do, but I would like to suggest is that please do not put yourself in a situation where you're going to be limiting or breaking the boundaries that you're setting up for yourself. And that opens room for abuse or for people to take advantage of you. And that takes away from your peace, which is something I'm promoting here, to protect your peace. I am saying it is so essential to ensure that you as a person are happy with what you are allowing into your own life. It is so important to prioritize that and take that into consideration. Never take it for granted. If it is a case of you having to nix and cancel agents of Satan in your life, then do it. Whether it is a partner, friends or family, whatever is disrupting your peace, honestly, you need to just say, listen, I need a break from you. If you still want that person in your life or those people in your life, and then continue on from there so that you can grow and develop, and then see what you're willing to let in for your own self, for your own peace. Because protect your peace. That is so important. Always protect your peace. And going into that, I would like to, also put a seed into your mind in terms of the glass. And when I mean the glass, you're like, what? Really? Like a glass to see? A glass to drink from? What is that? I mean the proverbial glass of proverbial glass of you and your essence. If you are full, you are going to be in abundance with what you are able to give. You'd be able to give more to other people so that they can receive more of your love. If you're half full, that is also okay, I guess, because then it leaves room for you to receive more, in a way. If you're empty, guys, do not be giving when your glass is empty. That is a bad idea. You will burn out. You will have nothing to give. If anything, You will be spreading misery and despair if your glass is completely empty. Always take into consideration for your own self-benefit and your own self-love to ensure that you have something for yourself so that you can nurture yourself. And then in that regard, once you do have something for yourself and you've established that you're happy in a comfortable space where you're able to give to others, then by all means do that. But trying to give a part of yourself or your time, your affection, pretty much anything when you have nothing is just a recipe for disaster. You will be heading into the oceans of destruction, and that is not good for you. That is like self-love destruction. And I learned that the very hard way for the longest time, because I was in situations where I would be trying to be giving too much and I didn't have anything to give, you know? An example of that would be, I'll give 3 examples actually. I'll give you an example with a family, a friend, and a relationship partner. So first example of me trying to give myself to people or trying to like fill in where I can is a friend situation. So I once had a friend. We're not friends anymore, and I pretty much was trying to be there for her, show up for her, and pretty much give her everything. Meanwhile, I had completely nothing. And that was so bad for my mental health and my emotional health, because I was giving so much, but I hadn't learned to be very selfish with myself and work on ensuring that I still had like something for myself and nurturing that one thing for myself so that I can like give more. And it ended up being really bad because I would be giving and giving and giving, and I would never get anything in return. And it ended up so badly to the point where I completely broke down. And I kid you not, I had to go to therapy to recover from that. I had to go for life coaching to recover from that, because it was such a harrowing time, because I had to relearn how to be self-sufficient for myself and give myself and fill up my own glass and ensure that I had something for myself, protect and guard that, bar out the agents of Satan, and make sure that I'm nurturing enough of myself so that I am able to give. And also to learn in learning from that, being able to be selfish with what I give to other people, because that was quite important to me too. The next example I would say would be with family members. And in my experience, the people that I have been surrounded with has been a blessing and has also been quite a challenge, because I come from a family of very high achievers, with high expectations. And with that being said, it was difficult being in an environment like that. And for me personally, I had to learn the hard way in order to set boundaries for myself and certain family members, so that they can respect me as a person and not treat me and undermine me as a person. Because in that regard, there was a lot of instances where I started developing an unhealthy habit by thinking that certain family members would only love and appreciate me if I was consistently thriving and being perfect. And that was very unhealthy. I ended up having to have a serious sit down with some of these people and just like say, hey, listen, I'm drowning here. Hey, I want to give you something, but like right now my glass is completely empty and I cannot give at the moment. And I was very fortunate to come across the understanding from these people or these family members that they were willing to learn and accommodate me, support me, and then help me in nurturing my glass to ensure that it would get full, you know? And I'm so grateful for that, and I appreciate all those family members for that, because that was a more healthy instance in terms of when my glass was completely empty, and I ended up being supported in ensuring that I could start filling it up slowly but surely, but also on the understanding that they were starting to learn from me as well, like how I would like to be treated, and to ensure that they respected my boundaries in ensuring that I was not giving too much where I could not give, and them being there to support me and continuously love me. And I'm grateful for that. And then relationship wise, this is a very tricky one for me, because the relationships that I have had have been an African magic movie, horror, thriller, nightmare show. And I'm not going to delve too much into this because the stories are many. The stories are many and none of them good. And that is not something that I would like to advertise. However, I will say this, that I have realized that when I am encountering or in a situation where I am with a romantic partner, I have realized that on my end, I need to be very cautious not to give too much of interest or of myself in that specific person early on, because I realized I used to do that quite a lot, and I've had to limit and be coy, which is so tiring, to be honest, because like being coy, it's almost taken and perceived as being like you're playing games, and I don't like games, especially in relationships. I like to be straightforward. Like, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, it's fine, and move on from that. And also, I've realized that I don't communicate as effectively as I would like, where we're all understanding and on the same page, which I'll delve into the next point that I will get into, which is the controversial one. But in that being said, it has been an education in both instances, with a friend, with family, and with a relationship partner, in my experience of my glass being full, half full, and empty. And with that being said, be selfish with your glass, you guys, because that is your sustenance, that is your essence, that is your nourishment. Because as long as you have that with you and you can keep it half full or full, you'll be able to give. When it's empty, it's empty. And sometimes you might need help to fill it up, or you might need to be even more selfish with yourself so that you're able to grow, fill it up, and be able to maybe give a little bit in the future. And that is my take on that with the whole glass thing. Let's go into the next bit that I want to discuss, which is what I was alluding to about relationship Hunger Games. I had touched on that a bit where I was discussing like your glass being full, half full, or empty. And now I want to tackle understanding and relationship insurance. And I will discuss with whether it is with a family member, whether it is with a friend, or a life partner, even in a work setting, if you are in a work setting. So let us be clear on that. So I'm going to start with the easiest one, which I think is the easiest one to follow. The easiest one I think to follow would be the work one, right? At work, it's very easy and very straightforward. Be professional, but also be open to sharing maybe snippets of your life with the people you work with, so that at least you can be relatable to them and they can see that, you're not a robot, because we're not robots. We are human beings, I would like to think. And you are a person of many interests and experiences. And it is okay to share snippets of that. Not everything. Nobody needs to read your entire life story or hear about your life story. You can write a book about that. And if people are interested in buying and reading that, great for them. But I mean, just share like little snippets of like yourself, so that, people can see that you're human and can relate with you, and perhaps to help build healthy working relationships, whether you're in a team, managing a team, or working with a client, or working in conjunction on a project with multiple groups of people. That I think that is quite important. So in terms of relationship insurance there, in a work setting, that is a professional situation. Like, keep it profesh, but also like give little snippets so that people can see you're not a robot. You're an actual human being with thoughts and feelings and opinions, and they need to be respected, hence boundaries. Again, going back to glass half full and empty. Then going into friendship, relationship insurances, you get friends who are like seasons. And I really like that, because I once read that somewhere. Actually, I watched it in a cartoon. I will try to remember that. I'll put it in the description for the podcast and also on my YouTube, where friends are like seasons. Either you have people who are there all seasons, or you have people who are there at specific periods of your life, and then you have those like arm length type people. And I can comfortably say with my whole chest that the number of full season type friends that I actually have, I can count on my 10 fingers. Yes, just 10 people that I can depend and rely on. I can say that with my whole chest. You guys know who you are. I come to you and discuss with you all these things that I want to like discuss with you, like, my entire life story, and when the sun rises and when the sun sets with me, and you pick up on me immediately when something is happening, and I appreciate you for that. And I also hope and I work towards ensuring that I'm just as a good friend to you as you are to me. So that was just like a little shout out to you guys. You know who you are. And in that being like the relationship insurance, I also have friends who are with me at certain periods of my life. And those are mostly like friends that like appear mostly when good things are happening, and not necessarily people who have seen all the bad that has happened in between. And then there are those friends that I keep at like arm's length, like you are around, but like we are friendly because I'm associated to you via another person, if that makes any sense. I guess the friend one was also quite quick. Then going into family relationship insurances. So your family is supposed to know you 100%. up and down, in and out, like the back of their hand kind of vibes. And with that, I also think it's quite straightforward. Your family is supposed to be there to support you and know you because they've been there with you through your entire journey, hopefully, from when you were born and from where you grew up, etc., etc. They've been there through the entire journey. So they're the ones who are supposed to know pretty much everything, like your deepest, darkest secrets. And in my experience, I definitely have that with my baby sister and also my young cousins, because I feel very connected to them because they understand and know me as a person. And I can count with my one hand some cousins who are older than me, who know me from the beginning. Yes, the beginning of time. And they've been there through everything, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the scandalous, the triumphs, everything. And I appreciate and love them for that too. Then going into romantic or life partner relationship insurance. This one is a tricky one because I think I might trigger some people with saying some of the things here. There is actually a segment on YouTube from a gentleman. I won't mention his name here, but I'll leave the link in the description, where he goes into relationship insurance. And going into that, I just want to be clear when I say I'm not here to offend people. I'm just here to discuss and hopefully have a healthy debate about some of these things. And I've noticed that there is some relationship insurances that I've seen romantically where there's situationships, there's marriages, there's engagements, there is long-term commitments, and then there is just nonsense, absolute nonsense. And I would classify that I have been mostly in situationships, which is interesting because it was almost like I was in relationships with people and I didn't have the clarity or the insurance of where I stood with a specific person. Like I was in the situation, and it had the undertones of like a long-term commitment and a marriage or an engagement, and it ended up not being that at all. And I would like to preface this and say that you guys, we are all adults here, I would like to think. And if there are any youngings listening in on this, I also think it's a good and valuable life lesson. You shouldn't be afraid to talk about what you want, your expectations, and where you stand. Like, you are entitled to be clear and ensure that like people are clear with you in terms of what you are expecting and what you want, so that you do not find yourself in states of confusion in terms of like where you stand with the person and what you want from a person. If you want to play games with someone, just be like, listen, I'm here for games. If you want long-term commitment, tell them, I want long-term commitment. If you want to get married, tell this person that you want to get married. It is okay. You should not be afraid to decipher or discuss these things or to express it. It should be encouraged and it should be discussed more that, you know, we can do all these things. So yeah, those are the types of insurances that I have picked up on for all the things that I've just like mentioned and discussed here with you. And finally, just to conclude this entire segment, please, guys, do look after yourself. Self-love is super important. And with that being said as well, please ensure that your glass is not empty, especially when you want to give to other people or dedicate to other people. You must ensure that you still have something for yourself and be selfish with that so that you are able to give to other people. That is super important. So with all that being said, thank you so much for joining in on this chat. Let's continue the debate on my YouTube channel in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on Instagram and we can continue this topic of discussion and conversation. And would love to have you again for next week where we can have another chat. And thank you so much for joining in and tuning in, and go with God. I shall chat to you later.